All right. This is a fun little bonus podcast that we're going to do.
Fun?
Because Tonya's wrong. And Superfan Tonya / unpaid intern Tonya / patron Tonya. She's got a lot of names around here now.
I feel like we need titles.
But she's wrong. You're getting caught up in the titles, and what we need to be caught up in is she's fucking wrong.
Look, there's some things to discuss here.
So the topic at hand is the book Dune, which is, in Bob's as ever humble opinion, the best sci-fi book ever written. Ender's Game is number 2. Speaker for the Dead is number 3. We're sipping Clyde Mays, or actually Derek is doing Sober October.
Yep.
And so is unpaid intern Tonya is his designated drinker.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's start out with, first off, cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Wow, so you just baby sipped a shot.
I did.
Also, we are drinking from our official Books, Beards, Booze shot glasses, which are fucking amazing.
Let's pause here.
Her face is something tragic.
What do you... What, woman? What?
Okay, I haven't really drank since Dragon Con.
That's like, what?
It's been a minute.
2 weeks?
No,
3
it's
weeks?
been like almost 2 months.
Whatever, same thing.
Banana baton.
And I just had a Kit Kat.
No,
All right.
I was just curious.
We're getting super distracted. Let's hone in on what's important here. Tanya's wrong because
Okay.
she says Dune is not good.
It's not. It's super confusing.
All right, stop. You can't list a bunch of reasons because we're going to dive into each reason individually.
Okay, it's super confusing.
Super confusing. What are you confused about?
Okay. Is everything an acceptable answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I don't...
Now, Derek, you're about halfway through the book.
Right.
Tanya, you are
I don't know.
about 100 pages into the book.
Maybe like 150 at this point.
Okay. And I've read the book, I think, 5 times. So, I'm a bit of a fan.
No, it's just... There's no explanation as to what anything is. It's just... Here, I'm tossing you into this desert planet, fucking figure it out.
Yes.
That's horrible.
It's really not that bad, though. Like, it's really on par for... It's not like... I've never really seen anyone complain like, man, the learning curve on this. Like, all sci-fi fantasy has a learning curve
Maybe
to
I just
it.
don't like sci-fi.
I mean,
This is, I think, really my first real, like, sci-fi
Well, actually,
book.
there's a incredibly solid argument to be made that this
That
book
it's a
isn't
fantasy
sci-fi
book.
at all. It's a
Yeah.
fantasy book.
Okay, well, I don't like
but-
how everything has a stupid name. Everything has a stupid name. And all the names are so fucking similar that I couldn't listen to the Audible book.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep anything straight. So I had to switch to reading it, and that didn't fucking help. It's terrible.
As sci-fi goes, these are fairly easy. Like Paul...
Okay,
Jessica,
you pick the 2 normal
Leto,
people names.
But
Everything's got an apostrophe.
you're talking about but those aren't like people names. Those are like organization names.
Proper
like
nouns.
Bene Gesserit.
Proper nouns.
Yeah. Yeah, but like all the people names, the ones that you see the most are all very like Jessica and Paul and Vladimir. Duncan.
Okay, alright.
Gurney.
Whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever. But you, Mr. I've read Dune like 5 times. I love this.
Look, here's the thing. I think I get where you're coming from. Like the names of technologies and stuff like that. Like when they just name things.
Gone bar.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like I'm missing some pre-knowledge that I ought to have in order to really read this book.
I don't think you are. I think you think you are, but you're not. Because no one this was the first book. There are like 8 million of the books now because he wrote 5 more, and then his son and some other guy have written conservatively, I think 300 other books. But not really. It's like 20. But
Still excessive.
but it's at its core, it's just this family has taken over rulership of this planet, and the sun may or may not be something special.
Yeah, and until you told me that like 2 days ago, I literally am 150 pages in with no fucking clue what I'm reading.
I will say this about this book. The more caffeinated I am, the more I like it.
It's definitely a book that you can't just breeze through. I will say that. It's got... You need to kind of pay attention to stuff. Like, because there's stuff... I mean, even like...
Well, here's the thing, though. That you're not wrong, but here's my thing. That's how I read everything. This is still a tough read for me. Like, it's how do I put it? It's not even enjoyable. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. It's not fun.
It's not.
It's good, but it's not fun.
It gets... I think it gets... Well, I don't know. Like, to me, it was one of the first books I read that had just a lot of, like, political wrangling to it. And I just really enjoyed political wrangling. And noble houses, things like that. Just that's
always good. Yeah.
Always tickled my pickle. But it really does really get good, I think. Like, I can see where, like, because at first, not a lot really happens. It's a lot of, oh, well, we think they're going to do this. We think they might do this. You know, we're making plans to do this. And there are some things like the scene with the Gomj bar, but that's not totally clear because it's not meant to be completely clear at that point. Like, you're not, if everything was completely clear on that, it would spoil the book. Like, you're supposed to... I think you're looking at it like I should know all these things, but and it's kind of hard for me because I've read it so many times. Like, I don't remember the first time I read it, but you're not supposed to know everything at first. You're kind of uncovering some of this stuff, and like some things are mysterious. Like, what's up with the Fremen? What's going on with them? What's that all about?
Here's one thing I will say, and I think that this is a reason I appreciate it, but also a reason I'm not having fun with it. And because it's the way it's written, just the style that he writes in, I can appreciate and I enjoy. Like, I like the way it's written, but it is very good at leaving you going, what? Huh? But in a good way. I don't know how to describe it, but like...
I mean, I get that reaction of huh and what, but I don't feel happy about it.
That's my thing, is like... the time I've enjoyed it the most was when I was very, very coffeeed up. And I was reading it, and I would read a sentence and be like, that has a lot of implication that is not being come right out and stated, that is making this very rich. But if you're not going to stop and take a second to think about those things, to really examine what's happening,
I'm not.
Then it's not gonna... Well, that's my thing. That's my thing, is if you don't do that, then it's just confusing.
Yes, it is.
That's not a flaw with the book, though. I think the book just may be a poor fit for your reading style.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to really read it kind of close, then you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff.
At this point, like, I have tried to read it a couple times, I've put it down, and I've read other things instead. And now I'm going to finish this fucking book. And so I'm not really enjoying it, but I'm just going to put my eyes across words to get through it.
If that's what you're doing, though,
I'm hoping that at some point it's going to fall together.
But here's the thing, though. Now you've got your dander up about it, and you're reading it begrudgingly, so you're not really reading
Why is it all one big chapter? I can't get to a good stopping point. I can't get to the end of a chapter.
I'm not going to lie.
It just goes forever. There's no fucking chapters.
Well, there's chapters.
Don't horse shit. You find me a thing where it says chapter 2. There ain't none. There's not.
I'm pretty sure it just anytime there's like a quote.
No, you just get that quote thing.
Yeah, that's a chapter.
That's a chapter.
Horse shit. It needs to have numbers.
All right, Tonya.
No, that's a chapter break. Every time there's a quote like that.
In the middle of a page?
Yeah.
That's a chapter break.
That's just the way they do that.
The quotes?
Doo-doo.
Yeah, I really like that. Love books that do quotes like that.
I like it, but I do I do understand where you're saying, like, you wish that it would, like, end the page, start another page so that you're very clear, but it's one of those things where, like, oh, there's a quote, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
I think it. Don't get me wrong. I love that they do that with the quotes because I love anything that starts with like a quote. Or have you read Ender's Game?
No, it's on my TBR.
You know, on Ender's Game, where they have those conversations before each chapter. I love. That.
Yeah,
Stuff
no,
like
I love those.
Yeah.
In my the first fantasy novel I've written, Blightborn, Battleborn. I do that. I put quotes at the beginning of every chapter. Because I love that kind of shit.
See, I'm enjoying talking about this because I've managed to lose my copy of this book.
Yeah.
I'll find it here in a minute and finish it. But I'm enjoying. Like, I keep saying I don't enjoy it. Like, I'm not having fun with it. Like, it's not a fun, enjoyable read. But it's a very good read, if that makes sense. Like, it's very well done. Great world building, very interesting, but I'm not enjoying myself. Like, it's not fun. But
how far along are you?
They're doing stuff with the Fremen right now. I don't.
Has Paul gone to the Fremen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you just did the bit where they went to inspect the sand mining,
and Leto saved the people,
Yeah.
and he would I don't give a fuck about the spice. Let's save the guys and give them my share.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
But there's a whole subtext.
That was cool because
Yeah.
they're hey, look, there's something that's
Somebody is doing a
relatable,
thing.
and somebody's
Yeah.
doing a thing, and ooh, wow,
Yeah.
now they're
Well-
actual humans.
Well, that's the,
I
like I
the
said,
dinner
the
party was interesting. Has that happened for you yet?
where they
where
have the
Jessica
water
had
cellar.
all the people come over, and Leto was no, we're not selling dirty towel water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that whole scene.
But-
I enjoyed that.
But there's a lot going on with what's the guy's name? Liet Kynes.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of stuff that's going on real subtly that kind of it pays off more and more in the book. I don't know if y'all have gotten to it yet, but there's no, you wouldn't have. But there's a scene later in the book that involves Fade Routha and a guy named Fenrir. And it wasn't until I had read it the second or third time that I really picked up on all the nuances that was going on in that scene. But no, but here's what I'm saying. This book, especially where you're at, it's a lot of setting the scene, setting a bunch of stuff that really starts to pay off.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm hoping that some shit clicks because I've read quite a few books where it's well, this is
Taking a minute.
really hard to get through, but then once you get there, it's oh, I bet this is great. So I'm hoping that works
Shai
for me.
Hulud.
But
Well,
and also, what would have been helpful is if you had told me that there was an appendix at the back with a fucking
there's
glossary.
always on books
Tanya,
that.
there's always a
on
glossary in the back. This
not
is your
always,
first sci-fi novel in the back.
But no, any sci-fi fantasy novel that has a lot of world building, it's always got an
could have told
appendix.
me.
Well, I just assumed you knew. That is the one thing about Audible books. You don't get the appendix. I will say that. That's my one critique.
I don't
of it.
ever read the
And
appendices of anything.
Oh man, that's where some of the best stuff is. If you like world building,
If the story's
oh, man.
over, it says the end. Everything that comes after that
Actually,
is pointless.
Dune has really good, some of the better appendices.
So when I finish this story, I still have to keep reading?
No, but there's stuff in there if you just if there's parts of it that interest you, if the religion, where the origin of the Zen Zuni philosophers and whatnot. There's a section there about the religion of Dune.
It'd be so great when Bob just strangles you.
I know.
It's gonna be amazing.
I don't like this, but I'm also poo-pooing it because his face is great. But,
That's fair.
but no, I've set this book down and I've picked it back
And
up. And I've set it down.
That's another thing is you need to just nut up and.
That's what I'm doing.
read
I'm
it.
just reading it.
Yeah,
I'm
quit
just putting my
cutting
eyes
other
across
stuff.
words.
Well, but really take it in. That's rough coming from me. But this is a book that definitely.
I was trying to read it Bob
rewards-
style and just breeze through and really remember
There's
stuff.
too much subtlety going on here. It doesn't seem like it at first, but again, as you read it, there's a fair bit of subtle wrangling and stuff like that going on.
I would even disagree with that. I would say it's very obvious because if you're not getting that, then you're confused the whole time. If you're not taking in everything and thinking about what that could potentially possibly mean, you're missing it out because it's
so up until 3 days ago, I literally had no idea what I was reading.
Yeah.
I sent
That's what I'm
him a
saying.
snap
It's
and I was like, this book is stupid. What the fuck even is this? And he goes, well, there are 2 houses, and one house has been here for a while. I mean, I understood that there were 2 houses, but what is their relation to each other?
They hate each other.
I didn't fucking know. I didn't get it.
They've sworn Can Lee against each other because Leto's grandfather embarrassed Vladimir's grandfather at the Battle of blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
and so they've sworn a blood oath to kill each other.
Now,
I knew that the H family was
Harkonnens.
pieced out of the planet, and then you got the A family in.
The Atreides.
And they're trying to survive.
You're looking at me and saying these things. You need to look at him. You will get no sympathy from me on this point because that is how I hate when people are not focused wholly on the thing that they're reading.
I don't care.
It drives me up a fucking wall.
All right.
Like, I have conversations with Bob immediately after he's finished the book. I'm like, and remember that line that said this? And he's like, huh?
Yeah. No.
I quit.
Who remembers one sentence out of a whole book?
He does.
Fucking nerd.
That's what I do. It's my jam. Drink the rest of that goddamn shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
I set myself up for that.
I've already had 2. All right. Well, look. You're wrong. Hopefully you 2 will finish this fucking book sometime before the end of the year so we can do a actual fucking real episode on this.
Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
Where Tonya still confirms that this book's trash.
I'm going to kill you all.